Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, I heard it. I heard it. Yeah. It's on now, Billy, so.
Is it on?
Yeah. Yeah, we're just trying to get the stream set up. That's right. No problem. No problem. I won't worry about it too much and just wait and see what they say. Yeah. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye. I was trying audio testing to see how it sounds on here. I'm trying to see what my live thing looks like on here too.
July 15th, 1987, 50th anniversary.
I can move it around a little bit. I'm just curious to see what it's like picking up the. Yeah, there's people moving. It's still like pausing a little bit.
It's still like hot.
It's an audio check. And there's an audio check here live. High school football, Laurel, Highlands, and Mckeesport tonight. Picture looks good. As long as the internet's stable.
Yeah, picture looks awesome.
I just think it's going to be bouncing around a lot unless we can figure out a way to stream at a lower bit rate. That's the time. Check, check, check. Audio check. Are you picking up my audio through there? You might not be. Now you might be. I just turned it up a little bit now. See if that's any better.
What boxing you turn on, dude?
No, but I just adjusted it here. Might need to go a little higher. I want like over black. I'm not sure if it's picking up my. Let me go on this side and see. If it's picking up on the external mic or on my mic. It sounds like. Let me try this one. Let's see if that's any better. Again, testing this out, testing the level check. Can you tell if that's coming from my mic, do you know?
I can't tell.
Then just trying to see if this is coming from my mic, live from Mckeesport High School football here on WWS, and the Live High School Sports Network. I'll be able to. Somebody call Nick. Hey Nick, just testing this out. I need to go on hold though. Yeah, please. All right, so that's not picking it up, so we hear what was on hold. Well, no, there are adjustments though over here though, Billy, too, on the audio levels.
Okay.
They're low, and they might be on. Make sure they're on mic. You're on channel 1 or channel 2?
Channel 1.
Okay. There you go. Oh, that's making nice sound by the camera. We should still be hearing the station though. Hello? Yeah, correct. Yeah. All right, I'll see you when you get here. Bye bye. Everybody has to call and ask everything.
What's he calling about?
It just all looks like a little dicey. So Mike. Oh, maybe this.
Of the individual status as an executive level, public employee, public official, or party officer. It means that the only issue that occurs here, and this is where we're bringing it right back to policy, it's not personal, it is policy. There is a definite question to be asked here of why Ms. Snyder's daughter was the one that was working at this marijuana facility. Because it's written right there in the act. Ms. Snyder Representative Snyder was there during the time this act was put in place. Well, I'll tell you what, with that, Nick's wanting to take another break, so let's take another break, Nick, and we'll see if we can get some more people to call in.
Hi, this is Greg Hopkins. Around here, we value the straight shooter, a firm handshake, or talking face-to-face. That's why I'm voting for Larry Yost for state representative. He says what he means, and he does what he says. Whether he's fighting for our Second Amendment rights, for the life of an unborn child, funding law enforcement, or getting our folks back to work, Larry Yost won't be tied to Tom Wolf in the Philadelphia Wolf Pack. His only interest is you. November the 3rd, please join me and vote Larry Yost, state representative. Paid for by Larry Yost, the state representative.
World Importing Market has been offering a great selection of ethnic foods since 1935. Our huge array of old world-style deli meats and cheeses bring back fond memories of the years past. Every day we start by baking bread, our popular pepperoni rolls, and daily hot luncheon specials. View our weekly menu on Facebook and call us with your order 724-437-5771. We use Grubhub delivery service, too. Don't forget us for meat and cheese party trays, baked pans of pasta, meatballs, sausage in sauce, and more. That's World Importing Market, 724-437-5771, where traditions in food never end. And we're back. And if you would like to call in, it's 724-438-4593. And Larry, I'll tell you what, we were talking, and I hate to tell anybody, give Wolf Blitzer any traction, but he kind of called Nancy Pelosi out the other night on the radio, or on the TV rather.
Embarrassing for her. It seemed like old Wolf was actually trying to bring a lot of things to light that what Nancy was doing, which is she's playing politics with this, with this issue of getting the stimulus back up and running for the people who aren't working right now. And everybody is starting to see the chinks in her armor that if she keeps playing politics as she does, people are going to lose their homes. They're going to lose. They're not able to pay rent. They're not able to pay their cars. They're not able to go back to work. All these things are hanging on this stimulus that they're trying to roll. So that President Trump, President Trump does not look like he's getting a win on this, and that is the most disgusting level of politics. I'm glad that Wolf Blitzer called her out on it. She deserved it.
Well, it gives him a little bit more credibility in everybody's eyes, I think, because of what he did.
Not really. Don't have that much credibility in it.
Well,
I think that he's just finally fed up with his party and realizes that they are damaging this country greatly.
Well, and President Trump's, like I said, I just got a message on my phone here. President Trump's having a rally at Ocala, Florida, and I don't know, there's a lot of people in Ocala, Florida, and tonight to talk to the president. And the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was you've been endorsed by a couple pro-life PACs.
I posted that up earlier this week. We announced one. Life PAC was one of the pro-life organizations, as well as PA Federation for Life, and I'm very, very proud to have both of them on board.
The thing of it is what I wanted to bring out was your opponent was endorsed by these people, but now isn't. And they actually took and endorsed the candidate.
Yes.
Because this is one thing I like to say about this. If we fail to protect life, no other rights really matter.
Right. That's absolutely right, John.
And President Trump actually said this last night, almost in a certain while, but not quite in them words, but he almost said he said that and brought that up when they asked him. And it's like he said, if we fail to protect life, there's no other rights that really matter. So a lot of people will say we're like we're looking at a one voting. How do you want to say that? I'm trying to think of the word. But anyways, we're only looking at one situation to vote for, but that isn't true. If we fail to protect the life, we have to do that first. Then we can go on with all the other things.
Well, that's why one of the biggest issues also with trying to get a Supreme Court a Supreme Court justice sworn in is that the biggest issue is they're saying that she's not going to be protective of Roe v. Wade, and it's just because there's a lot more questions to be asked about pro-life and abortion going forward, and I hope that the court will continue to take up these fights, because we're just, the barbarity of abortion has went on for too long. I mean, it's went on, one day was too long for it to occur. And Roe versus Wade was passed, was judged in 1973. So look at the decades and decades of damage that has done. And if you look at it, one of the things that I cite quite often is, especially if I'm speaking to someone in the African American community, is African Americans make up 13% of our country, and that's a great thing. The saddest thing is that about 21% of African Americans have been responsible for the abortions that have been held since Roe versus Wade, and that is a sad number. To think that more people wouldn't be here today to have more of a voice today. So I tell people, you don't realize how much we've given away and by allowing this to continue. I mean, we're giving away great minds, people that could have potentially came up with all the things that we would have needed to fix diseases, or artists and people who genuinely give back to our society in a great way, that we've just let that life go. And it's sad every time I think about it.
And just think of I don't know what the exact number is, but how many more people would be paying taxes and working in the United States right now?
We would have a bigger population, which I think the Democrat Party has the biggest problem with. So, I mean, they don't have a problem with illegals coming here to our country and taking advantage of our great country here in some ways, but they have a problem with a baby being born. There's something grossly unbalanced with that.
And we need to, this needs to be addressed, and we need to move forward with it, with a lot of this.
Well, I kind of want to touch on something too real quick.
Go ahead.
When you're talking about the endorsements, I'm very, very proud to have those endorsements as well as some others. We talked about term limits, that I signed on for term limits very early, and I'm very proud of that. And the Friends of the NRA, Greene County, Greene County section of the Friends of NRA have endorsed me because I've been a lifetime gun owner. I've also been a lifetime member of the NRA. So it was nice to have their endorsement. But what you got to keep in mind when it comes to these type of endorsements, where you might not get the ones that you would think a conservative or a pro-gun person would get, or a life person would get, is that they often only endorse the incumbents when it comes to these things. So it's very hard for a candidate to get ahead of these endorsements. So you have to be the best candidate that you can possibly be to even garnish the ones that I've gotten. That, like I said, I'm so extremely proud of. As far as the pro-life, Federation of Pro-Life, PA, that group downgraded my opponent because she had voted with a bill that did not support her pro-life values, and that's why they gave her the downgrade. And like I said, just so thankful that they gave me the endorsement.
I haven't got to see just exactly yet, and I'm bringing this up. Maybe I don't mean to blindside anybody here, but I guess that the governor kind of like voted against something today about opening things back up again. Like I said, the restaurant, amount of people is allowed in restaurants and things like this.
He's literally killing businesses. If Joe Biden gets in there, he's going to make it worse. And Joe Biden was already talking about a mask mandate nationwide. And, I mean, that when you hear a mask mandate, it doesn't just mean, oh, well, protect your health. It means that we're going to keep businesses closed, too. We're going to, keep social distancing a thing, and we're going to destroy all the businesses in this country. And it's not going to come cheap. People do not realize the expense that comes with this. You have to become bold and realize that if we do not maintain our economy, even during these troubling times as COVID has been, then we are going to destroy our country. Now, don't think that the Democrat Party doesn't have a wish list of what happens whenever they just spend with reckless abandon. When they spend and spend and spend, keep in mind, you will be on the hook for every dime of that. And it just goes to show you, it's just like we talk quite often about the Green New Deal, $93 trillion. They want to get rid of farms and farmers and tell them what they can and can't grow, and a meatless diet. All these things are in there. No air travel. All these things are in the Green New Deal. But what people don't take into consideration, for all the things that you're giving up, whether you're giving up your property because they're gonna tell you what you can and can't do on your farm, or whether you're giving up, your rights to freely travel, whatever happens there, you are going to be on the hook personally for $600,000 per person. Now, you may never pay that off in a lifetime, but guess what? You're going to die in debt to the Green New Deal, and that's a sad, sad thing to happen.
Well, I tell you what, I'd like to bring this up real quickly. We got about 5 minutes left. We had a tremendous night down in Greene County at Brady's Roadhouse. He was down there on Tuesday night, wasn't it, Larry? Yeah. And I can tell you this, all the people in that room, they believe in term limits.
They sure did. Yeah.
And running an audio test. Again, we have some background playing as well from the studio. Steve, can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can.
Brady was great to host that.
I've ever been for a game.
I can imagine.
Really thankful. And if you're out there in the Waynesburg area, just head down to the Bucktown area of Waynesburg and try out Brady's, because he's got good food, he's got a great atmosphere, and it's a nice spot to try out.
And he also has a sporting goods store right across the street, I believe.
Yeah, he's a entrepreneur. He owns several businesses in town. He's got a little gun shop directly across from Brady's Roadhouse. So jump in there and talk to Dave and Pam.
And once again, we'd like to thank everyone from the Greene County Pennsylvania Republican Party. And I guess we're going to have to wrap it up here, Larry. It went a lot quicker than what I thought it would.
Yeah, like I said, with what was happening with the marijuana scandal, it's a lot to unpack all at once. So let's continue the conversation on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram, and of course www.voteyost2020.com.
Okay, and with that, we're gonna close up. We got a football game we got to get to. Who's playing tonight, Nick?
John, we have a C. Arborado Group High School Sports Night, Laurel, Highlands, Mckeesport.
And tomorrow night we got a
game in Greene County. Yes, Carmichael's and California.
Carmichael's is playing California. That's probably we need to listen to all these different games. Support these high schools. Hey, I'd like to close with this real quickly. We will succeed because we are on the right side of this fight. Individual freedom, private property and protections, inalienable rights given to us by our Creator, and the ability to be fair and just people will, in the end, win. There's nothing stopping it, as I believe it is inevitable. The Constitution is to limit the government, not the people. The government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from earth. I want to thank everybody for listening. You can catch me now on YouTube, Hillbilly John Radio. And with that, God bless each and every one of you, and God bless America.
All right, John, thanks so much. We'll check on the weather watch before we go out to high school football. We have a frost advisory for the overnight and early Saturday morning. Right now at 52 degrees, the overnight low at 39. We have sun Saturday, 56, 65 on Sunday. Light rain on Monday, 63. Tuesday, sun, 65. Warming up to 70 again Wednesday, Thursday, and the Friday of next week. Sun both days. Highs in the mid to upper 60s. It is almost 6 o'clock and 52 degrees at your local station, WMBS Uniontown. Stay tuned for high school football. The C. Arborado Group High School Sports Night comes your way right now with the Sprouse Insurance Group pregame show on WMBS. It's time for another C. Arborado Group High School Sports Night coverage of high school football here on WMBS and the Trib Live High School Sports Network, being brought to you by Russ Blejo, your local Allstate insurance agent, the Uniontown Hospital, the dental offices of Dr. Jonathan Krisner and Dr. Jennifer Haar, McClure & Wolf Certified Public Accountants, Napa Auto Parts in Uniontown and Brownsville, Laurel Ridge Realty, McGurley Music in Uniontown, Rose Motors in Masontown, Jimmy John's in Uniontown, Ted Sova & Son Auto and Fender Repair, Buyers Market in Uniontown, State Farm Agent Lauren Yeoman, Magisterial District Judge Nathan Henning, Stewart Collision, Ford of Uniontown, Potter's Bar and Grill, Shop and Save Walnut Hill in Uniontown, South Union Township Supervisor Rick Vernon, Casey Sports Cafe, General Dentist Dr. Weetek, Cherokee Recycling, the Sprouse Insurance Group, Peachin's Pharmacy in the downtown Connellsville Peachin Market, Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law, M&R Transit in Uniontown, Southwestern Gastrointestinal Specialist in Uniontown, Joby's Golf, Marissa's Restaurant in Uniontown, System Pre-Owned, the Centers for Rehab Services and Physical Therapist at Jim Burns, Fayette Area Coordinated Transportation, NovaCare Rehabilitation, the C. Arborado Group, First Federal Savings and Loan Association of Greene County, Tireman's Auto Garage in Uniontown, Lisa J. Boudet, Attorney at Law, the Mayor Scotty Insurance Agency, Armstrong, Life Made Easy, Pat's Bridal Boutique in Connellsville, Martin's at Connellsville, Apex Cleaning in Uniontown, Thurby's Riverside Ford, Mama Ruka's Pizza Shop, Miller's Greenhouse and Flower Shop, and the Radcliffe Farm. Now stay tuned for the Sprouse Insurance Group pregame show here on WMBS and the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
From Mckeesport High School, it's time for high school football action here on 590 AM, 101.1 FM, WMBS, and on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Tonight, the Mckeesport Tigers, 4-1 overall, 3-1 in the Big 8 Conference, coached by Matt Miller, host the Laurel Highlands Mustangs. The Mustangs 1-4 overall, 1-3 in conference play. Rich Colasar in his second year as the head coach of the Mustangs. Brian Morozak along with Steve Supert, Billy Dice behind the camera tonight. Nick Barczyk back in our Uniontown Hospital studios. Our pregame show being brought to you by the Sprouse Insurance Group and insurance agent David Hughes. They will get you ready for the game. They're located at 217 West Main Street in Uniontown. Phone 724-437-9812 for the Sprouse Insurance Group. And Steve, this is the first meeting between these two schools since at least the mid-1990s. Laurel Highlands coming off of tough losses against Bell Vernon and Thomas Jefferson, but actually still has a shot at a wild card playoff bid. They can knock off Mckeesport tonight and Trinity next week. You look at Mckeesport, their only loss came against Bell Vernon. They will play TJ next week, but they had close wins over Trinity and West Mifflin. So looking at common scores, this might be a pretty competitive game tonight.
Well, it could be, and it you would think the slight edge would go to Mckeesport, especially being at home. But you never know. The Mustangs, have played some pretty decent football. They've played some, pretty poor football at times as well. But they've overall, I think the coach Colasar has to be pretty pleased with his squad. They've been playing pretty hard, a spirited game, and they just got to limit the mistakes, Brian. They got to limit the turnovers. They got to play good, solid football. And when you have playmakers on offense, like the Gallagher kid, anything can happen.
And Laurel Highlands is going back to Rodney Gallagher as the starting quarterback tonight. How will that impact the game?
Well, I don't know. We've talked about that, and I'm not really sure if I like that as much. Of course, the coach knows his team. I thought the other kid was playing pretty well, and he made a few mistakes, yes, but he also got the football to Gallagher out in space, which you lose that ability. And now Gallagher is going to be. I think it turns the Mustangs into a little bit more one-dimensional, but if they feel like he can get the ball in his hands and make some more plays, and that's that might be the benefit to him, but we'll see how it goes.
Of course, Mckeesport runs the triple option, very similar to the offense the Laurel Highlands saw against Albert Gallatin in their opening game.
Yeah, and it's so it should be they should be familiar with the with it, but also they had trouble stopping the run, the Mustangs, Brian, so that's going to be a problem. They have to be able to have those guys on the defensive front be able to make the initial at least a little bit of a stop so the linebackers can get in. You can't have your secondary making all the tackles, and that's what happened to LH against AG.
Looking at the Big 8 conference standings right now, of course, Thomas Jefferson, top of the conference, 4-0 in conference play. Bell Vernon a half game back at 4-1. Mckeesport sitting at 3-1, and that looks like a wild card spot right now. Trinity still alive at 2-2. The Mustangs still control their own destiny for a wild card at 1-3. West Mifflin sits at 1-4, and Ringgold at 0-4 tonight in the conference. Bell Vernon at Trinity, of course, Laurel Highlands here at Mckeesport, and Thomas Jefferson at Ringgold tonight. If you're looking for our live video stream, we do have it shared on the WMBS Facebook page, trying something a little bit new tonight. We have a new camera in, and we have the feed on YouTube tonight. We do have that link shared on the WMBS Facebook page, so click on the link on the Facebook page and check us out on YouTube tonight if you want to watch the video of the game tonight. And by the way, our live video stream tonight, courtesy of Apex Cleaning and M&R Transit. Should be a lot of fun here tonight, Steve. Cold outside. You're actually staying warm. You're inside your truck right off to our left.
Yeah, we got a good kind of an odd spot. We're up in the away bleachers, if you will, across the way from the press box, and you're in the corner, kind of on the 20-yard line, would you say?
Yeah, I'd say so. So the camera's actually about the 10.
Yeah. So, but I got to pull my truck up here, and since it was so cold, I figure we have that extra long cord you got us, and I'm going to sit in here. I'll be nice and toasty.
Well, enjoy the warm weather tonight inside your truck. I'll be outside along with Billy, and we'll bring you all the action here on WMBS, the Triple Live High School Sports Network, YouTube, and Facebook tonight. When our Sprouse Insurance Group pregame show continues, we'll talk to Laurel Highlands head coach Rich Colasar here on WMBS.
Apex Cleaning Supply is a full-line janitorial supply and service company. They are located at 175 North Beeson Boulevard in Uniontown. Apex specializes in daily maintenance, post-construction cleanup, carpet cleaning, and much more. Their field experts will help you find a plan that best fits your budget and your needs. Apex's janitorial supplies includes every item that will help you keep work environment healthy and clean. Call 888-273-9462. ApexCleaningSupply.com. Apex Cleaning Supply, always providing excellence.
Attorneys from all over the state and nation advertise in southwestern Pennsylvania for personal injury and workers' comp cases. But most of them send their assistants to do the legwork. You might not even meet your attorney until your first hearing.
We're local attorneys, Davis & Davis. We meet directly with our clients, including free consultation, and there are no fees until you receive money on your case. If you've been injured, call Davis & Davis, representing you and your neighbors yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Phone 724-437-2799.
At Uniontown Hospital, we have recently expanded our radiology services to include multiple types of interventional radiology. With the use of high-resolution digital imaging, we can now offer area residents a faster, less invasive alternative to traditional surgery for many procedures, including biopsy, Mckeesport, aspiration, epidural steroid injection, joint injection, and many more. This new line of services offers our patients the chance to have significantly reduced recovery time and often results in less pain and trauma. And with the reduced cost compared to traditional surgery, interventional radiology helps our patients afford the care they need. So if you need a surgical procedure, consider your community hospital, where we are always friends, neighbors, and family, caring for friends, neighbors, and family. Uniontown Hospital, making a healthy difference in the lives we touch.
With the rest of the world, Peachin Pharmacy is following the developments of the COVID-19 pandemic. Your safety is a priority at Peachin Pharmacy. For prescriptions, you have many options. Peachin's offers free delivery, free mail, and curbside pickup. If you come into the store, Peachin's follows all of the CDC and state safety recommendations. As always, if you have concerns about your medications, call 724-626-9600 or visit Peachin Pharmacy inside the Peachin Market in Connellsville or online at peachinpharmacy.com.
Chris Parker Jr., it's the season for tricks, treats, and scary stuff.
Well, here at Autoland, it's all treats with 0% financing for 72 months on 2020 Hyundai Tucsons and Santa Fe, plus 0% for 72 months on 2020 Sonatas. Deals on remaining SUVs are fantastic, with incentives of $2,750 off 2020 Tucsons and $3,250 off 2020 Santa Fe. We are offering 120% of Blue Book value for your trade.
How about an SUV with a payment that won't scare me?
No reason to be afraid when leasing a new 2020 Kona SE all-wheel drive for only $139 per month. It's all treats, no tricks, here at Autoland Hyundai.
Treats like owner assurance, America's best warranty with 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain protection and 3-year free complimentary maintenance. Autoland Hyundai, 25 East Fayette Street, downtown Uniontown, AutolandHyundai.com, or call 724-437-9999.
You'll always pay less to drive the best at Autoland Hyundai.
That's AutolandHyundai.com or call 724-437-9999.
Mom Maruka's Pizza Shop, located at 64 Barton Mill Road in Uniontown, is your prime place to enjoy local high school sports. Mom Maruka's is family-owned and operated, where pride of ownership certainly shows. The Sampson family carries on the tradition of homemade pizza, salads, subs, and wings. Mom Maruka's is open Monday through Saturday, 4 to 10 for indoor, outdoor dining and takeout. Call 724-438-9066 or visit MomMarukaPizza.com for their menu.
Laurel Highlands at Mckeesport. High school football action here on WMBS tonight, being joined by Laurel Highlands head coach Rich Colasar. And Richard Mustangs certainly have had tough games the last 2 weeks against Bell Vernon and Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah, I heard a stat the other day. TJ and Bell Vernon over the last 4 years are combined 56-0 in the regular season when they don't play each other. Those are the two elite programs in 4A right now, and we're just not there yet.
And I think the Mckeesport game certainly has all the makings of a competitive game for your Mustangs if you look at similar results between the two schools so far this year.
Yeah, we look at the last two games of the season. We go 2-0. We have a chance to finish third in this conference and be up for a wild card. Mckeesport, they play in a lot of close games. They play very good defense. Offensively, though, they do make a lot of mistakes. We got to be ready to capitalize on them.
And it seems like the key is certainly shutting down their rushing attack.
Yeah, they run the triple option. It's all about the run game. They're about 90% run. So we really focused on that this week at practice. If we can slow that down, force them to make mistakes, we're going to be in the game.
How tough is that triple option to prepare for?
Seeing it earlier this year helps. We saw it with AG. Obviously, we didn't do a great job defending it that week, but we were able to learn from mistakes. And I think, we've had a really good week of practice. I'm excited to see how we play Friday.
Does getting those games behind you against teams like TJ and Bell Vernon now allow you to refocus here for the stretch run?
Yeah, and we talked about that. Friday night when the game ended, we talked about competing throughout that game and battling and winning individual plays. And our kids refocused. They came in Saturday morning excited, ready to go for these last two games.
We saw some nice things out of Rod late in the TJ game, and you mentioned to me off the air you might try to work on some things this week to try to get the ball in his hands a little more often.
Yeah, he's very explosive. He showed it Friday night, a little bit of back of that spark that he had last year making a big play. We just need to find ways to get the ball in his hands sometimes and let him make plays and block for him. You look at the weather for Friday night. Right now it's supposed to be cold and possibly rainy. It's a night where you need to be able to run the football. We have not done a great job running it. And I think Rod at quarterback gives us a better opportunity to run. But, Joe's continuing to work, so they're both going to get some time. They offer unique skill sets. But we're going to do whatever we can to start producing more on offense.
If you do not qualify for the WPIAL playoffs, you may be looking at going out there and trying to add a few extra non-conference games, since you can now play up to 10 games before Thanksgiving to try to add to some of the development of some of your younger players on this team?
Yeah, absolutely. Before the season, we had heard that there was a possibility of adding games if we didn't make the playoffs, and playoff formats are changing even as we speak. So, I want to give our kids an opportunity to play. We're an extremely young team. We're going to have about 18 to 20 returning lettermen next year, about 8 starters on each side of the ball. So these kids just need to continue to play football. So we're going to try to do that, and if we can play some local teams, that would be great.
Coach, appreciate your time as always. We'll see you out at Mckeesport on Friday night, and best of luck.
Thanks, Brian.
That's Laurel Highlands head coach Rich Colasar. Stay tuned when the Sprouse Insurance Group pregame show continues. We'll talk to Mckeesport head coach Matt Miller as the Tigers host the Mustangs. High school football action here on WMBS, the Triple High School Sports Network, and Facebook Live.
Looking for the highest quality products at the lowest prices? Shop and save on Walnut Hill in Uniontown has the widest selection of brands and the freshest offerings around. They specialize in your family's grocery needs. Save big and sign up for the Shop and Save Perks card to get money-saving benefits and discounts on gas. Shop and Save. Walnut Hill Road, Uniontown, open 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. Working hard to offer you the best at Shop and Save because it's the just right thing to do.
When your car is damaged, the name to remember is Ted Silva & Son Body and Fender Repair. Currently in their 57th year of providing quality, reliable service to the community, Ted Silva & Son offers complete collision service, minor to major repairs, frame and unibody repair, and glass installation. They will gladly blueprint your vehicle for repair, and they will work with your insurance company. With a paint booth that utilizes the environmentally friendly waterborne paint process, Ted Silva & Son not only cares for our community and our children, they care for our environment. Located on Atlas Road in Hopwood, it is the goal of Ted Silva & Son to alleviate the stress of an accident and assist you in any way possible. Family owned and operated for 57 years. Call 724-437-2351 for Ted Silva & Son Body and Fender Repair, LLC. Proud to sponsor local high school sports. When you are looking to make some extra cash for your aluminum cans, visit Cherokee Recycling, where aluminum can is king. Cherokee Recycling is also buying deer hides. Cherokee Recycling is open Monday through Friday from 9 till 5 and Saturdays 8 till noon, closed Sundays and holidays. Give Marcus, Rags, or Tater a call at 724-439-3228 for Cherokee Recycling. Recycling makes the most sense.
McClure & Wolf, certified public accountants, your full-service accounting firm serving the tri-state area since 1926, is conveniently located at 538 Morgantown Street in Uniontown. Offering tax, accounting, auditing, payroll, management advisory, and estate planning services, McClure & Wolf is recognized as an industry leader in providing their clients with quality professional services. To find out more about their services, visit them online at www.mcclurewolfcpas.com or give them a call at 724-437-2000 for McClure & Wolf, certified public accountant.
Don't fall behind on your home improvement projects. Let First Federal of Greene County help with the heavy lifting. Planning to remodel your kitchen or bath? Considering an addition, patio, or new roof? First Federal gives you all the tools you need. FHA Title I improvement loans, home equity loans, construction loans, and owner-builder loans. With offices in Fayette, Greene, and Washington counties, your loan stays here. Visit a loan officer today or apply online at firstfederalofgreene.com. First Federal Savings and Loan Association of Greene County, member FDIC, equal housing lender, NMLS number 458729.
Our world has been temporarily turned upside down due to the coronavirus. But please know that NovaCare Rehabilitation is here for you. Our facility is still open for direct patient care. However, if you don't feel comfortable coming into the clinic, we now offer telehealth and home-based care as well. Don't let your life be affected by pain. Let us help you find some normalcy in these challenging times. NovaCare Rehabilitation, 97 Delaware Avenue, Uniontown. Phone 724-437-0556 for NovaCare in Uniontown.
When it comes to protecting all your stuff, wouldn't it be great to have one place that protects it all? Here's some good news. Uniontown Allstate agent Russ Flaho is the only insurance agent you need to help keep tabs on protection for all your stuff. Everything from your home, car, and boat to your motorcycle, snowmobile, and ATV. Stop by Allstate agent Russ Flaho's office today on Lebanon Avenue. Are you in good hands? Subject to terms, conditions, availability, Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates.
Brian Rozak back on the Browns Insurance Group pregame show. High school football action on WMBS tonight. The Laurel Highlands Mustangs at Mckeesport taking on the Tigers. Joining us right now, the head coach of the Mckeesport Tigers, Matt Miller. And Matt, your Mckeesport team enters the game tonight with Laurel Highlands 4-1 overall, 3-1 in conference play. Of course, you made the move down from 5A to 4A in the offseason. Your thoughts on how the season's gone for you so far this year?
Slow. You know, we offensively, we haven't played very well. We keep working on it pretty much. Keep getting, minimal results, so hopefully we can turn that around. But I think defensively we played very, very well. I've been very happy with what we've been able to do on that side of the football. But right now, just trying to get the offense going.
Has it been tougher to prepare for some of these opponents, considering the fact you haven't seen many of these teams in prior years?
Yeah, it's definitely different. You don't know what to expect. Our offense is very unique. A lot of people don't play base defenses against us. So when we go into these games, we're, never knowing what they're going to actually put out there in front of us. But, we try to adapt, but we haven't done a good job at that so far this season.
You lost week 1 against Bell Vernon, 20-0. Came back with a non-conference win against Newcastle and a couple of close conference games, 10-7 over Trinity and last week 12-7 over West Mifflin. So you really had some games coming right down to the wire.
Yeah, hopefully it pays dividends at the end of the season. It's a couple of big games here, conference games to end the season. We're hopefully, if they get tight, we've played in some tight games. We've been able to make some field goals. We've been able to make some big stops. So hopefully that helps us out later on in the season when we're playing a big game.
One thing maybe in your favor, of course, as you get farther into the season, colder temperatures, maybe rain in the forecast. Might have that on Friday night as well. Certainly favors your rushing attack.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it beats when you have to throw the football all around. Our offense is designed to play, late in the season, late in the year, cold, rain, whatever it may be. But, it still causes problems for everybody, taking snaps, hold on to the football. Even though we're not throwing the ball, our 3-5-yard pass it backwards, it still needs to be caught and put away safely. So hopefully the rain holds off in all of our games.
You have Laurel Highlands on Friday. Talk about the matchup with the Mustangs.
They're tough. They throw the football around. They have some athletes that can get the ball that they want to get ball to in space. And then defensively, big, nice-sized front line. They seem to move around well. Inside linebacker, they're a little smaller, but they seem like they run to the football. So it'll be a challenge for us. Once again, in this conference, it's a lot of good football teams.
I saw looking at your stats, you've rotated a couple of quarterbacks. Terrence and Caleb both have seen some time. What are your plans for Friday?
Caleb Reese is going to stay at quarterback, and Terrence Glenn's going to be our fullback. It's kind of our mainstay. It's kind of what we've been hoping to do since the beginning of the season. And Terrence was able to hold it down until Caleb was ready. Physically, Caleb was, kind of injured, coming off an injury. So it took a little bit of time for him to get back into the swing of things. And, Terrence did an outstanding job holding it together before he could move to the fullback position.
Coach, appreciate your time. Best of luck against Laurel Highlands on Friday. We'll see you out there.
All right. Thanks a lot.
That's Mckeesport head coach Matt Miller. The Tigers hosting the Laurel Highlands Mustangs tonight. And tomorrow night we'll have more high school football here on WMBS with California traveling to Carmichael's. And we'll preview that game up next with California head coach Ed Woods when the Browns Insurance Group pregame show continues. here on WMBS, the Triple I High School Sports Network, and Facebook Live.
Football season means cool weather, and before you know it, snow. Time to think about winter tires. For the lowest prices, Tireman's Auto Garage is the place to go. With the cheapest prices in town on new and used tires, winter tires, plus semi-truck tires and more with financing available. Need an alignment? Tireman's Auto Garage now offers alignments at the cheapest prices. Just $65 any year, make your model. Lifted take-ups and dualies, $85. To schedule your alignment, call 724-425-9606. Tireman's Auto Garage, Mill Street next to Sherwin-Williams.
Wait now! C. Harper. Our C. Harper Chevy customers can drive away in a new 2020 Chevy Equinox for only $169 a month. Security deposit waived. Call 724-929-8000 or visit charperchevy.com. Chevrolet, find new roads. Lease to GMF for well-qualified individuals, $169 per month at 10,000 miles per year. For $2,999 tax rate equity. Must have a GM or non-GM lease in the household at the time of signing. Security deposit waived. Payment is plus tax, title fees, and first payment. Sale ends November 2nd, 2020. While supplies last. Call dealer for all of the details at 724-929-8000.
Magisterial District Judge Nathan Henning extends his best wishes to the Laurel Highlands Mustangs and the Uniontown Red Raiders and all of our local teams for a great season. District Judge Nathan Henning recognizes even in these uncertain times, a successful season requires teamwork. It's the result of the hard work of the players and the coaches and the support of their families. Good luck to the Laurel Highlands Mustangs and Uniontown Red Raiders from District Judge Nathan Henning.
This is Dr. Fraser Stokes. Did you know that colorectal cancer is the second leading cancer killer in America, or that it can be prevented by removing polyps during a 30-minute colonoscopy? At SWGI, our board-certified gastroenterologists, Drs. Ruth Hart Calabrese Hoppy and I, encourage you to consider a screening colonoscopy. Call 724-437-7677 or visit swgispecialists.com.
Riz's Restaurant is an unfussy hangout that serves up burgers, brews, pizzas, and other bar staples in a relaxed atmosphere. Riz's is located at 84 West Main Street in Uniontown. When you stop by, try Riz's famous chicken salad sandwich. You won't leave hungry after eating at Riz's Restaurant. Check out their Facebook page for their daily lunch features that you do not want to miss out on. Either dine in or take out. Call Riz's Restaurant at 724-425-1782.
For the finest selection of musical equipment and accessories, stop in Mckeesport Music, Morgantown Street next to KFC. Mckeesport has over 500 guitars in stock. They pay cash for old guitars and match prices too. You'll get the best deal and you can lay away now for Christmas. Mckeesport Music encourages the love of music. Phone 724-438-9311. Visit them at McKeespортMusic.com or Mckeesport Music on Facebook and Instagram. On Morgantown Street next to KFC, Mckeesport.
South Union Township Supervisor Rick Vernon salutes all local high school athletes for their perseverance, dedication, and hard work during tough times. On the football field and in life, it takes teamwork and the commitment of many to achieve a successful outcome. Rick Vernon congratulates all of the participants, and that especially includes the parents. Thanks to all for playing the game. Let's go Mustangs!
Prime Rozak back on the Sprouse Insurance Group pregame show. High school football on WMBS tonight. The Laurel Highlands Mustangs at Mckeesport taking on the Tigers. Last night we had Albert Gallatin in action as the Colonials hosted the Carrick Raiders. With a recap of last night's action, here's Nick Barczyk.
Carrick came into York Run riding the low of a 17-game losing streak Thursday night when they took on Albert Gallatin. The Colonials got the football first and used the ground game to score early.
Robinson again back under center, lowering behind him. Robinson takes the snap. He's going to call his own number and walk in on the right side of the line. So Tristan Robinson, his first rushing touchdown of the season, puts Albert Gallatin up 6-0 here at the 7:24 mark of the opening quarter.
On their very next offensive drive, Albert Gallatin used the air to score, and this was our first Federal Savings and Loan Association of Greene County super play of the game.
Robinson back under center, lowering behind him. Effort comes in motion. Robinson's going to put it up as Fabricki wide open across the center of the field, and he'll walk into the end zone for an Albert Gallatin touchdown. So Robinson to Fabricki, 27-yard hookup comes here at the 5:10 mark of the opening quarter.
The extra point put AG up 14-0. A short time later, after the Colonials recovered a Carrick fumble, they won 3 plays, 20 yards, and capped off a drive with a 12-yard touchdown from Kayla Matzes-Chapman to go up 21-0. Before you know it, it was 36-0, and Albert Gallatin capped off the first half, making it 43-0 with this touchdown from Caleb Lang.
The second and goal from the 2. Effort comes in motion. Lane gets the carry, breaks a couple of tackles in the backfield, and it takes it in. I think they're just trying to spread around the touchdowns tonight. Caleb Lang becomes the 6th different Colonial to score in this game.
Carrick looked like they were going to break the shutout with a touchdown in the second half on a kickoff return touchdown, but it was called back with a block in the back penalty against the Raiders, and that was pretty much all she wrote. Abbott Gallatin adding some scoring in the second half to win on a running clock. 57-0, led on the ground by Sean Loring, 48 yards on 7 carries. Bruno Fabricki had 47 yards on 4 carries, and Dylan Shea with 46 on 5. 258 total yards for Abbott Gallatin. All of their plays runs except for one. Carrick had negative 28 yards on the ground, and they lose their 18th consecutive game. Final score Thursday from York Run, Abbott Gallatin 57, Carrick nothing. Nick Barczyk, WMBS.
And we'll have more high school football on WMBS tomorrow as the California Trojans travel to Carmichael to take on the Mighty Mikes, and we'll preview that game with California head coach Ed Woods when the Sprouse Insurance Group pregame show continues here on WMBS, the Triple I's High School Sports Network, Facebook, and YouTube tonight.
When it's time to service your vehicle, don't procrastinate. Call Rose Motors at 724-583-1944. Rose Motors specializes in computer diagnostics, engine and electrical problems, brake service, electronic tune-ups, air conditioning repair, exhaust work, state inspection, and more. Looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle? See Rose Motors where financing is also available. Rose Motors, 42 River Avenue, Masontown. Serving the area for 3 generations. Open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5, Saturday by appointment.
Switching is easy. We do it all the time. We switch on the lights. We switch TV channels. Some of us switch partners while square dancing. Well, that's a stretch. But what's not a stretch is how you can switch and save with State Farm. In fact, State Farm agent Lauren Yeoman right here in Uniontown can switch you over so you can start saving today. Lauren and her team are ready to welcome you to the State Farm neighborhood. With Lauren Yeoman, it's easy to switch and save. Just give Lauren a call at 724-592-6308. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
How far would you go to find some of the most advanced physical, occupational, and speech therapy? You won't have to go far when you choose UPMC Centers for Rehab Services in Uniontown on Wayland Smith Drive. Jim Burns, a lifelong Fayette County resident, and his staff provides cutting-edge care for sports injuries or conditions like an aching back, sore shoulder, or stroke rehabilitation. To schedule an appointment or to learn more, call UPMC Centers for Rehab Services Uniontown at 724-437-7500.
Quality parts, accessories, paints, tools, and supplies. Napa Auto Parts complete line for cars, trucks, imports, and farm equipment. Napa Auto Parts keeps America running. Fayette Parts in Uniontown, Standard Auto in Brownsville, and Napa Auto in Bell Vernon and Monongahela carry premium quality auto parts at discount prices. They always have a huge inventory of parts in stock when you visit a Napa Auto Part location. Over 200,000 parts in stock. Ask about their Napa lifetime warranty on most items with a no-hassle return policy. Open weekends and evenings in Brownsville, 724-785-3800. Bell Vernon, 724-929-5522. Monongahela, 724-258-3101. And in Uniontown, 724-437-7553 for Napa Auto Parts.
I'm attorney Trip Radcliffe, and we at Radcliffe Law have been helping people that were injured in accidents for over 35 years. When you're involved in an accident, it can be scary. Radcliffe Law will meet with you for free, and our experienced team will provide you with valuable information needed to pursue your claims successfully. If you or someone you know are injured in an accident, call Radcliffe Law, 724-439-3939. Radcliffe Law, making the law personal.
Buyer's Market on Connellsville Street has beer and wine. Choose your favorite domestic or imported beer available in 15, 12, and 6-packs, or take a single bottle to go. Stop in, order a sandwich, and enjoy cold beer in their newly renovated seating area. Great food, lottery, and friendly service. Buyer's Beer and Wine Market, 180 Connellsville Street, open Monday through Friday, 6 to 10, Saturday and Sunday, 7 through 10. Grill hours, 8 through 2, Monday through Saturday. Don Arthur, owner.
Brian Rozak back on the Sprouse Insurance Group pregame show. High school football action on WMBS tonight. Laurel Highlands at Mckeesport taking on the Tigers. We'll have more high school football on WMBS tomorrow as California travels to Carmichael to take on the Mighty Mikes. Joining us right now is California head coach Ed Woods. And Ed, what a great start to the season, 4-0, and some of the stats you've put up have been just remarkable.
Well, thank you. The kids have been working real hard. We just keep clicking, and the kids are, they're getting better every week.
You look at Jaden Zuzak, came into the weekend over 1,100 rushing yards. He played only 4 games. He leads the state as far as rushing yards are concerned. He has to be thrilled with what he's already accomplished so far this season.
Oh, absolutely. He was another kid. He worked really hard, in the off season, and he had some goals. And even though we didn't play the games that we were hoping to play, he's accomplishing a lot of those goals already. I think he also broke 4 school records this year already in just 4 games.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And how tough has it been kind of getting into the groove of things here? Yeah, the opening game against Bentworth, we're scheduled to play West Green. That game never happened. At least you'll be able to get back to somewhat of a routine here over the last couple of weeks.
Well, we're trying to. With them being in school 3 days a week and 2 days off, it's still tough. It's still, there is no such thing as normalcy anymore, with this whole COVID thing. And I'm just real proud with the way that our kids and our coaches, in our school district, the way that, they've been able to adjust, and we've just been able to continue to have success with what's put in front of us daily.
Talk about the role changes for Damani Stafford as well throughout his career. Of course, he started out as a running back. Now you're quarterback, and granted, you don't throw the ball that much, but still I have to think there's some adjustments that went into play with him as well.
Well, absolutely. Being a first-year quarterback, this was all new to him. And, for him, just for the rest of these guys, the whole thing's been new to him. This is only our 2nd year there. Last year he was a running back. So, I think by the end of the year he was starting to get down that fullback position. Then I pulled that from him, and he went right into being our number 1 quarterback. So, I give him a lot of credit for staying focused and doing what he needed to do to learn that system as a quarterback. And, I'm real proud with him too, with what he's accomplished in such a short period at a position like quarterback.
Talk about the matchup with Carmichael's really a de facto conference championship game here in the Tri-County South, and they've really had a nice year after moving down from 2A to 1A in the offseason.
They sure have. Carmichael has always been, they've had the reputation of being a solid football program year in and year out, and they're a physical football team. I like what I see on tape as far as, that has not changed. You can tell that those kids are prepared, and they're very disciplined on both sides of the football. I think it's going to be a great game, and we're ready. We're excited to be able to play in that game Saturday.
And they have a pretty good running attack as well.
Absolutely, they got 2 players there that are pretty good running backs, along with their quarterback who carries the ball as well. And he can throw the ball well, and he runs well out of the pocket.
That's California head coach Ed Woods. The Trojans taking out the Mighty Mikes of Carmichael's on Saturday night here on WMBS. And again, we'll have that game for you starting with the Sprouse Insurance Group pregame show at 6. Opening kick set for 7. Of course, tonight it's Laurel Highlands at Mckeesport. And we'll talk all things WPIL football with Ian McMeans from Steel City Blitz when the Sprouse Insurance Group pregame show continues here on WMBS and the Triple Live High School Sports Network.
Accidents can happen at any time. At Stewart Collision Service in Uniontown, we are here to repair your vehicle to pre-accident condition. Have dents? Stewart Collision Service does paintless dent repair. Need a touch-up or full body paint job? Our water-based paint system gives the best match for your color. So give us a call at 724-437-9381 or stop by 73 East Fayette Street for all your collision needs. We work with all insurances. Stewart Collision supports our local high school sports team and wish you the best this season. That's Stewart Collision Service, 73 East Fayette Street in Uniontown, 724-437-9381.
And the extra point is good. We're back in a moment. You're listening to high school football here on WMBS. Soup, what are you doing over there?
You're supposed to be watching the Mustangs.
Oh, sorry. I am watching the Mustangs. I got a Mustang here on my phone, Tom. I'm trying to sell a car to a buddy of mine. It's a GT convertible. It's beautiful.
10 seconds, guys.
Hold on, Nick. Don't you know I'm selling cars down at Sisson Pre-Owned? Give me a call, Steve Suprick, 724-984-5279. Steve Suprick, 724-984-5279. SissonPreowned.com.
Bad hair day? Bad day at the office? Bad day behind the wheel? Hey, stuff happens, even to the best of us. At least your car insurance rate doesn't have to take a hit. Get Erie Rate Lock from Erie Insurance. Gives you a great rate that stays put until you change a car, driver, or your address. Plus, seriously good service. Now that's something to smile about.
Your Erie agent in Uniontown and Ross Traver Township is Sproul's Insurance Group, 724-437-9812, or go to SproulsInsurance.com.
Erie Rate Lock does not guarantee continued insurance coverage and is not available in all states.
General dentist Dr. Edward L. Wietek Jr. treats children, teens, and adults of all ages. Dr. Wietek performs all phases of general dentistry, including crowns and bridges, partials, full dentures, comprehensive orthodontics, root canals, bonded white fillings, dental implants to replace missing teeth and to stabilize loose-fitting dentures, and comprehensive exams and cleanings. Dr. Wietek is also your place to go for full mouth reconstruction if you have put off going to the dentist for too long. Visit Dr. Wietek online at www.myuniontowndentist.com to view the Smile Gallery and see some of his patients' before and after photos. See what over 35 years of experience and a practice committed to learning the latest techniques can do for you or your family. Dr. Wietek's office is located on the National Pike 1 mile west of the mall on Route 40. Call 724-439-1616. Savings is easy as 1, 2, 3 with an Education Club savings account at First Federal Savings and Loan Association of Greene County. Your future dreams will start adding up, plus you can qualify for a scholarship upon high school graduation. Visit any First Federal branch to start saving today. For more information on account rules and scholarship eligibility, visit firstfederalofgreene.com. Best wishes to our local teams from First Federal Savings and Loan Association of Greene County. NMLS number 458729, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Brian Rozak back on the Sproul's Insurance Group pregame show. High school football back on WNBS tonight. The Laurel Highlands Mustangs traveling to Mckeesport to take on the Tigers in a Class 4A Big 8 conference game, being joined once again by Ian McMeans from Steel City Blitz. And Ian, how are you doing on this Friday night?
Great. It's great to be on with you. Second night this week we're getting to talk, so it's a good time. And, we're getting down to at the end of the year here, just a couple weeks left in the regular season.
A busy night around the Whip Hill. We'll start first with our featured game here on WNBS, Laurel Highlands at Mckeesport. I think on paper this has the opportunity to maybe be a competitive game tonight. Just looking at some comparables out there, maybe how Mckeesport and Laurel both fared against West Mifflin. Both were close games, and I think the Mustangs pretty hungry after back-to-back weeks of tough opponents in Bell Vernon and Thomas Jefferson.
Absolutely. And Mckeesport, when we talked at the beginning of the year, talked about them as being a team that had really run over all their opponents they played in 5A. The last couple of years, they'd averaged, well over 40 points a game. And now this year, I think it's come as a bit of a surprise how tough the 4A conference has been for them to step into. They're averaging just about 25 points a game. Their games against both Trinity and West Mifflin were very close. They beat Trinity 10-7 and West Mifflin 12-7. So the Tigers haven't been as dominant offensively this year as they have been in the past in 5A. So I definitely think that this has the potential to be a low-scoring game if Laurel Highlands can keep Mckeesport's triple option in check. It's definitely a tough offense to defend, and it's something that Mckeesport has run very well for years. And a lot of it is that Mckeesport runs basically the same offense from their youth programs all the way up through high school. So these kids have been running basically the same play since they were old enough to strap on a helmet and play on a football field. So they're very well versed in how the offense is run and what they need to do and what their assignments are. So they're a structurally sound offensive team at Mckeesport, but they really don't have much of a passing game at all. So if Laurel Highlands can shut down their rushing attack and maybe score an early touchdown or two, kind of like they did against West Mifflin, I really don't know if Mckeesport has the firepower in their passing game to come back.
I think a lot on the line for Mckeesport as well because they have TJ on the schedule next week.
Absolutely, and considering the way that Mckeesport fared against Bell Vernon, which was getting shut out 20-0, they're going to have a really tough time against Thomas Jefferson, who pounded Bell Vernon. Well, they pulled away from them in the second half, beating them 42-21 a couple weeks ago. But it's going to be a hard road to hoe, and you're absolutely right that if Mckeesport has any designs on keeping their long playoff streak intact, I think it's around 20 straight years they've made the playoffs, that they really need this win tonight against Laurel Highlands to kind of stay in that race with that one loss against Bell Vernon already on their schedule.
What other games are you looking at tonight around the WPIL?
So another big game down in your area is Fraser taking on Best Center. Fraser got a big 7-6 win last week over Chartiers Houston in a defensive struggle, which potentially sets up a casket match next week against Washington for the second spot behind McGuffey in that interstate conference down in 2A. Fraser's played pretty well this year. They're 3-2, but 3-1 in the conference. The only loss was to McGuffey, who Washington also lost to. So potentially that game against Washington, if Fraser wins this week, is for second place in that conference next week. So that's definitely a big one to keep an eye on for Fraser, keeping their playoff hopes alive. Last week we saw some very interesting, some upset results actually. Mount Lebanon upset Central Catholic in 6A to really throw a wrench into the whole playoff conversation in 6A. And now this week Hempfield had to cancel their game against Central Catholic. So it's going to be interesting to see how 6A all shakes out. Really the biggest game there this week is Baldwin taking on Seneca Valley. Two other teams kind of in the middle of the playoff hunt. Going to be interesting to see how that shakes out. In 5A, a ton of good games this week on the schedule that all have potential playoff implications, mostly between teams kind of in the middle of the standings fighting over what could be those last couple playoff spots. Moon taking on Upper St. Clair, Fox Chapel taking on Penn Hills, North Hills playing against Pine Richland, and then Gateway against Woodland Hills is certainly noteworthy because Gateway's missed 3 straight games now. Gateway had a positive COVID case and had to miss 2 games because of that. And then their huge game last week against Penn Trafford, their big rivals in the Big East Conference, had to get canceled because Penn Trafford had a positive case. So Gateway hasn't played for almost a month here and now has to play a pretty hot Woodland Hills team who's had a loss to Penn Trafford, and that game is really important for that playoff race and for just Gateway to get another game on their schedule as we move closer to the playoffs and try and figure out how these teams are going to be seeded and how the standings all work. So Gateway really needs that win, but Woodland Hills has been really, really good this year on a bounce-back season. So that should definitely be a good one to watch. That's kind of a traditional rivalry, too, between teams that used to play in Quad A together way back in the day. In 4A, Aliquippa is coming off a big win over Chartiers Valley. We talked a little bit about that last week. They take on a Montour team who lost to Chartiers Valley in week 1 but has bounced back to win 4 in a row. So that game would really solidify Aliquippa at the top of the Parkway Conference standings in 4A. And really, 4A is going to come down to, I think, Thomas Jefferson, Bell Vernon, and Aliquippa are probably the 3 best teams, but definitely a game to keep an eye on there. In 3A, Elizabeth Forward's taking on Mount Pleasant in the Interstate Conference. Those are the only 2 undefeated teams left. Mount Pleasant really took it to Brownsville last week. It now has 2 games that will essentially decide how that conference's playoff hopes are going to shake out. Mount Pleasant plays Elizabeth Forward this week and South Park next week. In games between the top 3 teams, Elizabeth Forward beat South Park earlier this year. So those will shake out and kind of determine who the top teams are there and who's going to go to the playoffs and who's going to stay home. In 2A, we talked a little bit about that Fraser game, but also an important game in the Midwestern Conference between New Brighton and Neshannock. Neshannock lost a 14-7 early season game against Laurel, but has won 4 in a row since and has designs on facing Beaver Falls next week for the conference title, but needs to get past a pretty tough New Brighton team this week. In the Three Rivers Conference, Western Beavers coming off a big, somewhat surprising big win over Brentwood. I thought those were 2 very evenly matched teams, and Western Beaver really took it to Brentwood and takes on a Stowe Rocks team whose only loss this year was against Carlinton in week 1 in a game that Stowe Rocks had to forfeit because of a lack of eligible players. Not a COVID-related reason. They had some academic eligibility questions, which for a week 1 game was kind of surprising, but may have been one of those things where, take a test in the class, it might have 6 questions, you miss 2 of them, and all of a sudden you get a 4 out of 6 on a test, and you're failing the class. So I don't know exactly what happened there, but, Stowe Rocks has really bounced back and won 4 in a row since they had to forfeit that week 1 game against Carlinton. And then in Class A, Single A, Olsha's taking on Shenango in the Big 7 Conference, which is the battle for the top spot there. One of the biggest surprises this past week was Fort Cherry upsetting Rochester. Fort Cherry had lost 21 games in a row and then beat Northgate in week 4 to snap their streak, and then all of a sudden turned around and beat an undefeated Rochester team who, depending on which newspaper you look at, was either the number 2, number 3, number 4 ranked team in single A. So, ending a long losing streak and then beating a top 5 ranked team was certainly impressive. On our Whippeal Blitz show on YouTube this week, we actually interviewed Tanner Gary, Fort Cherry's head coach, and he was a great interview, great story. He's a third-generation head coach there. His father and grandfather both coached for Fort Cherry. The field they play on is actually named after his grandfather, who was Marvin Lewis's head coach in high school. So really cool story. Tanner's in his first year at Fort Cherry, really has a great passion for their program. So if you're interested in that story, check out the Whippeal Blitz show on YouTube. He was a fantastic interview that we had this week. So really cool to have him, really cool to hear their story. And some local connection there, too, that, we talked about Uniontown's long losing streak, and now all of a sudden you see Fort Cherry hadn't won a game in, 2.5 years, and now has won 2 in a row. So once you start to win those games and get that momentum, it's really cool to see how the players start to buy in and how they can start building things there. And now Fort Cherry has a chance with games against Union and Cornell the next 2 weeks, teams that are below them in the standings. I mean, they could finish with a winning record this year after, losing 21 straight and starting 0-3. So that's pretty cool to see. And then obviously the premier game in the Tri-County South between California and Carmichael's on Saturday, which we'll be talking again tomorrow about that one.
We have a couple of games that have been postponed tonight due to COVID issues. You mentioned the Hempfield Central Catholic game in 6A. Down in 4A, Blackhawk and Newcastle postponed. East Allegheny and Derry in 3A postponed, and Apollo Ridge and Sarah Catholic in 2A postponed. And a few other notes on Fayette County teams in action tonight. Connellsville is supposed to be at Penn Trafford tonight. Of course, Penn Trafford coming back after some COVID issues as well. Brownsville also had to move their game. They were scheduled to take on Southmoreland, who had some COVID issues, so Brownsville's going to play West Green tonight.
Yeah, and Brownsville kind of got put in a tough situation where they were a struggling program in 2A and then had to move up to 3A this year because of how the enrollment numbers fell. Kind of like with Uniontown. Uniontown had struggled in 3A the last couple years and had to move up to 4A. So hopefully Brownsville's able to bounce back. I mean, they've got some tough, hard-nosed kids. They've got some young players on that team. So it seems like they're building towards something there, but just not quite there yet. And there are programs that I should mention. The PIAA has said that teams are allowed to kind of continue to schedule games after the end of the regular season, actually up through Thanksgiving weekend. So for some of those teams that are struggling and working on developing young players, it may be worthwhile for them to consider adding a couple games at the end of the season. Against opponents they may not usually get to face, wouldn't necessarily have to play someone in their classification, could play someone a classification or two lower just to kind of get some more experience for their young players if they don't make the playoffs. I know that's something that the Whippeal used to do way back in the day, back in the early to mid-2000s, that they let teams schedule a Week 10 game if they didn't make the playoffs while some other teams played playoff games. And actually Plum had a really long losing streak, and I think like 32 games or so, and snapped that losing streak in a Week 10 game that they scheduled. That was, I think, back around 2007, 2008 time frame. But it's a good opportunity for some of these other schools that have had some struggles to get some more games on the schedule and just get their young players some more experience. So it'll be interesting to see if any schools do go out and take advantage of the PIAA, basically letting them schedule extra games this year.
It certainly would be some great community games as well. And, Ian, we appreciate your time as always. Ian McMeans from Steel City Blitz. We'll talk to you before the California
you